Hello, my friend. Today, I want to talk to you about something very important, something many English learners feel at some point in their journey. Maybe you've been studying English for weeks, months, or even years. You try hard. You watch videos. You read books. You speak when you can. But sometimes, it feels like nothing is changing. You think, why am I not improving? Why does my English still feel the same? This feeling is very common. Many learners feel this way, and it can be frustrating. You start to wonder, is something wrong with me? Or am I wasting my time? But today, I want to tell you something very true and very powerful. You are improving, even if you don't feel it. Yes, even when it's not easy to see, you are growing, you are changing, you are learning. Learning a language is not always fast. It's not always clear. Sometimes it's like a plant growing under the ground. You water it every day. You take care of it. But for a while, you don't see anything. It looks like nothing is happening. But deep under the soil, the roots are growing strong. And one day, suddenly, the plant appears, and it's beautiful. That's what learning English is like. In this video, I want to show you why this is true. I want to explain the invisible progress you are making. I want to help you understand that your hard work is not wasted. You are on the right path. You are doing better than you think. And I hope, after watching this, you will feel stronger, more confident, and ready to keep going. So let's begin. In the next chapter, we'll look at why progress in English is sometimes hard to see, but it's still happening every day. Let's start with a simple idea. Progress is not always something you can see or feel, and that's okay. In fact, it's normal. When you learn a language like English, your brain is doing a lot of work in the background. But because you don't see the results right away, you might think you're not moving forward. This is not true. Think about when you go to the gym or start exercising. On the first day, you feel tired. You don't see any change in your body. Even after a few weeks, maybe nothing looks different in the mirror. But deep inside, your body is changing. Your muscles are getting stronger. Your heart is getting healthier. You are improving, even when it's not visible. The same thing happens when you learn English. Sometimes, we only notice big changes. Maybe you think, I still make mistakes, or I can't speak fast, or I don't understand native speakers. But that's because you're looking for big results. You're looking at the top of the mountain, not the steps you've already climbed. But those small steps matter. They are proof that you're growing, even when it's slow. There are many ways we improve in silence. You might not notice that now you can understand more English when watching a video, even if just a few more words. You might not see that you stop translating every sentence in your head. You don't think about these things because they happen slowly. But slow progress is still progress. Some days it feels like nothing is happening, but your brain is collecting information. It's building a strong base. You are learning the rhythm of English. You are noticing patterns. Even if you don't use a new word right away, your brain has stored it. One day, it will come out when you need it, and you will be surprised. You'll say, I didn't know I remembered that. So please, don't be hard on yourself. Just because you don't feel different today doesn't mean you haven't changed. You are not the same learner you were last month. You are not the same person who started learning English months or years ago. You know more. You've practiced more. You've listened more. You've tried more. All of that matters. In the next chapter, we'll talk more about what's happening inside your brain when you study, because even when you feel stuck, your brain is not stuck at all. It's working for you every day. Even when you don't feel it, your brain is learning. This may sound strange, but it's true. Your brain is always busy. It's like a quiet worker who doesn't speak much, but never stops building. Every time you listen to English, read a sentence, or try to speak, your brain is making new connections. These connections are small at first, but they grow stronger over time. You might think, but I forgot that new word I studied yesterday. That's okay. Forgetting is part of learning. Yes, really, when your brain sees something new, it doesn't remember it right away. It needs to see it again and again. Each time you see it, your brain says, "Oh, I've seen this before. Maybe it's important." And slowly, it keeps it. This is why repetition is so important. When you hear the same words in different sentences, when you read the same grammar used in different ways, your brain starts to understand without needing to translate. You don't even notice it sometimes. But later, you find yourself using that word or understanding that sentence, and you wonder, how did I know that? The answer is simple. Your brain remembered for you. Think of it like learning to ride a bicycle. The first time, it's difficult. You fall. You feel unsure, but little by little, your body learns balance. You stop thinking about every small move. One day, you just ride. It's the same with English. In the beginning, everything feels slow. You think about every grammar rule. You worry about every word. But your brain is learning how to ride. And just like with bicycles, if you stop for a while, you may feel a little unsure again. But the skill is still there. Your brain doesn't forget it completely. It just needs a little practice to remember. So don't be afraid to rest when you need it. Breaks are okay. What matters is that you keep coming back. Also, don't forget that your brain needs time to process new things. After you study or practice, your brain continues working in the background. Sometimes, you'll understand something new the next day, not right after the lesson. That's because your brain needed a little extra time to organize the information. So trust your brain. It is working for you, even if you can't see it. Even if you don't feel smart today, your brain is growing smarter through every small effort. You are building something strong. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something else that's easy to miss. How you're understanding more English than you think, even when you don't feel confident. Sometimes we only notice what we can't do. We focus on the difficult parts, on the words we forget, on the grammar we don't get, or on the fast speech we can't follow. But what if I told you that you are understanding more English than you realize? Yes, it's true, and it's happening all the time. Let's think about when you listen to English, maybe a video, a podcast, or even someone talking near you. At first, maybe you only understand a few words, but over time, something changes. You begin to catch more. You hear "good morning" or "how are you," and your brain reacts. You know those phrases now. They feel natural. You don't have to stop and think. That is progress. Even when you don't understand everything, your brain is still working. It's learning to notice the rhythm of English. It's learning to expect what words might come next. For example, when someone says, "I'm going to the," your brain starts guessing. Maybe it's store, or park, or bank. This is a good sign. It means you are developing language sense, a feeling for how English works. And have you noticed that you no longer need to translate every word in your head? At the start, many learners translate from their native language. But now, maybe you understand some English directly. You don't always need to change it into your language first. That's amazing. That means your brain is using English more naturally. This is called passive understanding. You might not be ready to say a word, but you understand it when you hear or read it. This is a powerful stage in learning. Many learners feel stuck here, but really, it's not a problem. It's a normal part of the journey. First, you understand. Then, little by little, you begin to use what you understand. Try to remember a time when you were watching a movie or show in English. Maybe the first time it was hard. But later, when you watched again, you suddenly noticed new words. You followed the story better. You didn't pause as much. That's not a small thing. That's real progress. You may not remember every detail, but your listening is growing. The same happens with reading. A book or article that once felt difficult now feels easier. You start to guess meaning from context. Even if you don't know every word, you can understand the idea. That shows growth. Your English is becoming stronger, even when it still feels hard. So please, don't wait for a perfect moment when you suddenly feel fluent. It doesn't come all at once, but step by step, you are understanding more. Your brain is putting all the pieces together. You are moving forward, even on the days when it feels slow. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something many learners fear, making mistakes. But I will show you why your mistakes are not a problem. In fact, they are one of the most important signs that you're improving. Let's talk about mistakes. Many learners feel bad when they make mistakes in English. Maybe you say the wrong word. Maybe your grammar is not perfect. Or maybe someone doesn't understand you right away. When this happens, you might feel embarrassed. You might think, I'm not good enough, or I'll never speak well. But I want you to hear this. Making mistakes is a very good thing. Yes, it really is. Because if you are making mistakes, it means you are trying. It means you are using what you have learned. It means you are taking steps forward. Think about a child learning to walk. The child falls many times, but each time they fall, they learn something. Their legs grow stronger. Their balance improves. And one day, they can walk and even run. But without falling, they wouldn't learn how. You are doing the same thing with English. If you never make mistakes, it probably means you're not speaking, you're not writing, you're staying quiet. But real progress comes when you try, when you speak, when you write something, even if it's not perfect. Each mistake teaches your brain something new. You remember better next time. You become more confident. Also, mistakes help you see what you need to learn. If you always say he go to school and later learn the correct form is he goes to school, that moment of correction helps you grow. It stays in your mind. Your brain says, I see. I'll try it this way now. This is how you improve, through experience, not just by reading rules. And let's be honest, even native speakers make mistakes. They forget words. They mix up grammar. They correct themselves. So if people who grew up speaking English still make mistakes, why should you feel bad when you do? You are doing something even more impressive. You're learning a second language, and that takes real courage. So the next time you say something wrong, smile. Say, that's okay, I'm learning. Be kind to yourself. Mistakes are not a sign of failure. They are a sign of learning. Every time you make a mistake and keep going, you become a stronger English speaker. In the next chapter, we'll explore a new way to see your progress. Instead of looking at where you want to be, we'll look back at how far you've already come, and you might be surprised by what you see. Let's change how you see your journey. Instead of watching the road ahead, let's turn around and look at the path you've already walked. When you focus only on your goals, you may feel disappointed that you haven't reached them yet. But when you remember where you started, you'll see how far you've come, and you may be surprised by your own progress. Think back to when you first began learning English. Perhaps you could hardly introduce yourself. Maybe you knew only a few common words like hello or thank you. Now look at your skills today. You can form full sentences. You can understand short videos. You can read simple news articles. You may even write emails or messages to friends. Those changes add up to a big transformation, even if you didn't notice each step. Reflecting on past milestones makes you feel proud and motivated. It shows your brain the evidence of success. Your brain loves proof. When you remind yourself that you once struggled with basic phrases, and now you can use those phrases comfortably, you build confidence. And confidence is a powerful fuel that keeps you going. You can make this reflection part of your routine. Every week, take a moment to look at your old notes or old recordings of yourself speaking. Listen to a voice memo you made months ago. Read a short paragraph you wrote at the beginning of your studies. Then compare it to what you can do today. you'll hear the difference. You'll see better vocabulary, clearer sentences, even a smoother pronunciation. That comparison helps you feel the real change. Also, celebrate small victories along the way. Finishing a short book, understanding a song's chorus, making a new friend in English. These are all important. Each time you reach a small goal, you build another step toward larger goals. And by looking back, you keep track of those steps. Remember, your learning is not a straight line. Sometimes you feel fast progress, and sometimes you feel slow. That's normal. Learning has ups and downs. But if you look back, you'll see that the overall trend is upward. You're climbing steadily, even when the view ahead looks steep. So today, take a moment to reflect. Think of one thing you can do now that you couldn't do a month or two ago. It might be understanding a news report, telling a story in English, or simply feeling less nervous when speaking. Hold that achievement in your mind. Let it remind you that you are improving, even when the future still feels distant. In the next chapter, we'll explore how small daily efforts, just a few minutes every day, can make a big difference in your English journey. You'll see why consistency matters more than long study sessions, and how those minutes add up to hours, days, and months of real progress. Just as we saw that looking back helps you see growth, focusing on small daily efforts shows how tiny actions can become big changes. You don't need to study for hours each day to improve your English. Even short moments, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, are valuable. Each time you read a sentence, listen to a short clip, or speak a phrase, you add another stone to the path you're building. Imagine dropping a single grain of sand onto a pile, day after day. At first, the pile seems the same size, but over weeks and months, the sand builds up into a small hill and eventually into a tall mound. Your English practice works the same way. A few minutes of listening helps sharpen your ear. A quick sentence you write in a notebook makes your hand and brain work together. A short conversation, even just a greeting, gives you courage and experience. All of these small actions add up to hours of real learning over time. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. That means practicing a little every day beats studying for a long time, only once in a while. When you practice daily, you signal to your brain that English matters. Your brain responds by keeping those connections strong. You avoid forgetting because you refresh what you learned yesterday. And you build a habit, a positive routine that becomes part of your life. Habits need only tiny starts. Setting your phone to play a 2-minute English clip each morning, reading one paragraph from a book before bed, or speaking one new sentence aloud while you wait for something. If you ever feel too busy for English, remember that even small efforts count. Try to weave English into your daily life. Label items around your house with their English names. Follow a short English news headline once a day, or send yourself a voice note describing something simple, like your breakfast. These small moments give your brain more chances to learn. And as you practice, you'll notice that what once felt like a little effort now feels natural. Over time, those minutes become hours. Those hours become weeks and months of solid progress. Now you have seen why your efforts in English are not wasted, even when progress feels slow. You learned that progress can be invisible, like roots growing underground, and that your brain is constantly building connections even when you feel stuck. You discovered that you understand more than you think. Your passive listening and reading skills are improving quietly, preparing you to speak and write more confidently. You embrace the idea that mistakes are not failures, but stepping stones, proof that you are really using the language and learning from each experience. You practiced looking back at how far you've come. finding motivation in the distance you've already traveled. You recognized that small, daily efforts add up, building habits that turn minutes of practice into months of real growth. All these ideas connect like pieces of a puzzle. When you feel discouraged, when you think you're not improving, remember each chapter we've discussed. Think of the invisible growth under the soil. Trust that your brain is busy, making sense of words and patterns. Notice how much more you understand today than you did when you started. Smile at every mistake as a sign that you are stepping forward. Look at your past self to see how far you've come, and keep practicing, even if only for a few minutes each day. Your journey with English is personal and unique. It doesn't follow a straight line, but that's the beauty of learning. There will be moments of quiet growth, surprising breakthroughs, and times when you feel you must slow down. That slowdown is part of the process too, a chance for your mind to rest and reorganize. Then, when you return, you'll find that you remember more, speak more easily, and feel more confident. So promise yourself one thing: keep going. Set aside a little time every day to read, listen, speak, or write, and trust that each small step is leading you forward. Whenever doubt creeps in, revisit what you've already achieved. Open an old notebook or replay a voice memo to remind yourself of the learner you once were, and celebrate the learner you are now becoming. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Learning English is a marathon, not a sprint, and you have already covered many miles. Your hard work matters, and every effort brings you closer to your goals. Keep practicing, stay patient, and believe in your progress, because it is real, even when you don't feel it. Practice every day, and you will continue to grow.